Let's bring you some more now on those comments made by the US president about weapon shipments to Israel, bringing in Heidi Jo Castro, our correspondent in Washington, D.C. And Heidi, obviously, significant comments from the US president. He's under a great deal of pressure, isn't he, from outside of the US and from within it?
Absolutely. This marks a significant shift in the Biden administration and the U.S. foreign policy toward Israel, and that Biden has just told CNN that the continuation of U.S. aid of artillery shells, bombs for fighter jets, and other offensive weapons is contingent on whether Israel invades the city of Rafah. He said that if that goes forth, the U.S. will stop supplying those things to Israel. That is a significant turn of events. And like you said, so yes, Biden has been under significant pressure, knowing just how many civilians are sheltering in Rafah. But we also saw this sort of being paved by cabinet members. Lloyd Austin, the U.S. Defense Secretary, was on Capitol Hill today telling us, the Senate Appropriation Committee, that the U.S. was indeed pausing at least one shipment of munitions. That happened last week. He said that there had not been a final determination on whether that pause would be lifted, but he also said that other future munitions deliveries were being considered for perhaps slow walking. So these are definitely hurdles that the U.S. administration is putting in the way between the U.S. weapons getting to Israel, and now those words from President Biden himself saying that if Israel again invades the city of Rafah, that the U.S. will stop supplying it with those offensive weapons.
Heidi, it's interesting that he should sit down with a major US broadcaster to be so clear about what he wants to say about Israel. Let me just give one of the quotes. He says, bombs that the United States has supplied to Israel and now paused have been used to kill civilians. That is such a huge statement to make. I mean, we know that he's been against an incursion into Rafah. We've heard that from Blinken. We've now heard it again from the Secretary of Defense. But to say that the bombs that the US are supplying have been used against civilians is fuel to the fire of civil society globally, who have all been very critical of the American support for Israel.
Absolutely. And that exact turn of phrase, that it's U.S.-made bombs that are dropping on civilians in Rafah, those are the chants that we've been hearing at these protests that are on U.S. college campuses and that have erupted in major U.S. cities even prior to these campus protests. So yes, for all until now, Biden has been peppered with questions from reporters, from protesters about when that would ever change. And he always sort of dodged those questions. He always professed this ironclad alliance between the U.S. and Israel, which, by the way, was again affirmed today by the U.S. Defense Secretary. The alliance itself is not in question. But